Hi, and welcome back to the Remi Review. Another episode today, coming to you from Friday. With me, of course, is Prolific.
Yes, thank you very much. First time here.
No, that's not true. Okay. But he's got a proper mic this time, so it's the first time recorded.
First time like feeling actually like a rapper, because before I was just yelling stuff. Now I feel like I'm here.
World. This week's topic is going to be privatization. And the slow shift of things from being funded publicly to funding them privately. This is the switch that's going on all over the world. That's what these austerity measures are. It's taking things out of the public sphere and putting them into the private. Stick that in your privates. Over a period of hundreds of years, people needed to establish laws to protect themselves. Most of the laws that we have came out of a need from the people to protect themselves from something or other. So we got all worked up and we put this law in so that people would be safe and people would have their rights and things guaranteed. When you're looking at this from the position of a private company, laws that protect the people stand in the way of profit. The trickle-down effect. We're always hearing about this trickle-down, that if we repeal things that impede business, we will profit as regular people because there will be this trickle down. Trickle down, trickle down. Wonderful. Trickle down is how monarchies work. Trickle down is how dictatorships work. There's one person in charge who has everything and you wait for stuff to trickle down from them. This is why democracies were established in the first place, to get away from trickle down, because trickle down doesn't work. And it's clearly evident in the modern world that trickle down doesn't work because we've positioned all our economies around this idea of trickle-down, and all we see is more poverty, more starvation, there are more slaves today in the modern world than at any point in human history.
That's so not right.
An elected politician has to keep us in mind, has to make sure that we get the things we need, or he's not going to get elected next time, whereas a private individual doesn't care.
Remi Stevens is a samurai in the newsroom.
A samurai of the newsroom, cutting through the bullshit. The Remi Review. I want to look at scientific progress in the world. This supposed scientific progress. Does anyone actually believe that the internet wouldn't have happened if there weren't private corporations involved? I mean, for the most part, the internet has been spawned out of nerds in basements and people in universities and things. That's where it was all developed and connected. And the actual communications between people are still nerds in basements.
World of Warcraft, biatch!
Exactly. These are intelligent people who are going to find a way to connect with each other. They were doing it before the corporations were involved, and they're going to do it after if the corporations aren't involved. The corporations have just picked up on the scientific progress that mankind was already evolving into and have found a way to profit from it. Scientific truth was always waiting there. Corporations didn't make it happen. It was always there, it was always available, and mankind has just reached a point in our evolution where we can finally realize some of those truths and develop goods from them. Even if you believe that the good things in the modern world exclusively came from private influence.
What?
There's no guarantee that that's how we need to progress in the future. I mean, technology is something we don't yet understand. Maybe the best way to unveil new technologies is for all of us to have an input, that democratic style input from lots and lots of people. Instead of being top down, it's down up.
Fire!
Corporations like Mac or Microsoft, that now they're going to things like Android because it's open source and because it adapts faster. The technology improves quicker because more people are involved in its creation. You privatize something, you have a very small group of people actually developing it. And that small group isn't going to be able to compete in the future. That's why Mac is losing out to Android in market sales for whatever the hell it is that they provide. Corporations haven't even taken this progress and done something useful with it. I mean, look at most of the consumer goods that we buy now that used to be available in, say, the 1950s, and they're shittier now. They break in half the time, a quarter of the time. They break faster. And landfills, they're just throwing all this crap into a hole. That's where scientific progress is going, thanks to corporate influence. Down a hole. Our resources and our technology goes into a pit, and then we put dirt over it. That's the progress we're getting from private influence.
Remi Stevens is here to dig up the dirt.
Oh, I forgot to run this camera.
Oh.
So finally, camera 3, because I forgot to turn it on.
News fail.
The news fail.
News fail.
News fail. What did Prolific brought me something today? 24. If you haven't guessed, we take transit to get here. So there's always lots of good crap. You can really just open up any page in these transit papers and see some bullshit. This whole page here, this is designed to make you think that privatizing is a safer way to go for the public than public, which is madness. But anyway, Stephen Harper is canceling funding to opponents of the oil sands.
It's corrupt.
And this comes back to the same idea that we need to repeal anything that stands in the way of business. And supposedly this is good for us. Things that are in place to protect us, that keep international companies from coming in and taking our resources without leaving something of value in the country. These types of things are being repealed in the sake of free trade. I'm not picking on the paper yet, but just from what Harper's saying here, he's saying that, you know, his illegitimate government should have ultimate say over things, and that critics, you should not get public funding. There should always be oversight. I don't care if the government has received mandate from 80% of the population, they should still have oversight. We should still want to pay critics to criticize our government constantly. That's what government is. People in power and then people keeping them accountable by watching what they're doing. If we're not watching what they're doing, this is not a country. This is not Canada anymore. This is a dictatorship. This is something owned by a small group of individuals who do whatever the hell they want. And what they're doing is getting rid of our resources and giving them away internationally for nothing.
Like the mafia.
Like the mafia. The headline is fairly balanced. Harper's making a mistake. 24 News isn't saying that Harper made a mistake. They're just reporting that a critic is saying that they made a mistake. And then a specific quote here from that critical agency, that Harper puts other priorities ahead of the environment. They don't mention what these other priorities are, and you just survey it very quickly. You think that the other priorities of this group are probably, well, their own existence, because Harper is trying to get rid of this group. Be convinced that the criticisms of Harper doing this are self-motivated. There's nothing in here to make you actually criticize the government yourself. Oh, mother...
We need a grip.
Yeah, we need a grip. Things that need to be on. We forgot the key light, which, I don't know, it probably looked terrible to now. We're missing a camera, we're missing the key light, but I'm gonna keep going because...
So the question is, when will the Remi review go up? Is this one of the steps?
We get closer every day, Prolific. Closer every day. And of course, the top thing on this whole page, the first thing you're gonna see here, Montreal subway smoke bombs. The demos are in the street, the demos are complaining, the demos are angry. They're trying to create the illusion that it's a violent uprising and that these people are, I don't know, that lazy and violent? Is that that's what they're trying to tell us? They're lazy, and they're so lazy that they're going to be violent about it because they want handouts. That's what we're meant to believe. That's the full coverage of the major political unrest in Montreal, is that there's smoke bombs and that Harper is trying to save us by reducing expenses, and that the public coffers are the priority.
Smoky smoke bombs.
Smoky smoke bombs. That's what it is. Smoke bombs and Harper saving you from expenses. 24.
Consume.
Consume. We're gonna do the consume part.
Zoom.
This is another easy one because Petrol Canada.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Petrol Canada really quickly. Of course, there's nothing I could bring in as a prop for Petrol Canada. Well, I probably could bring fossil fuels into the studio, but I don't know if that's...
There's like a lizard on your desk.
They gave it the name Petrol Canada because Canada owned it and they made Petrol. The government, whoever was in charge at the time, decided, you know, we're going to sell Petrol Canada because, I don't know, maybe they were looking to the future. Well, let's just sell off these oil assets. It's not going to be worth anything. And that's what they did. They sold something that was public, that was worth untold billions, maybe trillions today of money. They just sold it. We don't need that. We don't need control of the oil industry. That's crazy that that would be aligned with the public. No, we'll make it private. And these bastards kept the name. They kept the name, Petrol Canada. Where is our sovereignty here? Why can't we have a real simple law that says the word Canada, because it's the name of the nation, is a sovereign word that companies can't use and exploit? There's absolutely nothing Canadian about Petrol Canada. So why are they using the name? Why do they have a red and white sign with a maple leaf on it? They have nothing to do with our country.
Culture.
This is the Cultural Review with manager broadcaster Jim Smetchland. Hey, we're going to do a... Well, I'm not going. Wouldn't we? There's no we. Remi, Big Rem, will be doing a fairly stale rendition of, hell, I'm not even sure, September, Earth, Wind, and Fire, because that has nothing to do with anything. Do you remember September? Privatization? I don't think Remi's even trying anymore. Puts together these episodes.
I agree, man. It's silly, but it works.
It's lazy and violent. That's what it is.